Just a reminder, today's conference is being recorded.
Yes, hello everybody for this new session of the XStepCafe. And yeah, together with me are people from IDEX in US and Gary, what was it, Millikan?
That's correct.
Yeah, and you do producing what?
We make chemicals and specialty textiles.
Okay. Cool. So you're new to the XStep topic, or are you?
Yes, we are.
Are also totally new to the PI sheet idea, or did you use PI sheets before?
We've tested them before in our chemical implementations.
Okay.
Only.
Okay. Cool. So did you review the recordings?
Some of them.
Okay. Any feedback?
Very good. Very helpful.
I'm glad you said this. Yeah. So I'll just share. I think this one is okay. Now you should see a window with something in it. XStepCafe. Do you see that?
Yep.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Okay. All right. So how do I start? So I didn't really prepare a lot. So maybe some thoughts I can share with you, but maybe let's just start like you asking questions or giving me feedback on several stuff. Maybe you can also tell me what you were up to lately, what you did in your implementations or in your testings. Anybody wants to start or ask something?
We are just starting an upgrade from 4.7e to 6.0. So we're right now just writing test scripts, and one of the questions I had was, other than testing to make sure that our function modules convert correctly, is there anything else that we need to consider as part of this upgrade? I mean, we're going to test a pretty wide-ranging list of things, but I didn't know if you had heard anything about things that in the XStep area we need to be mindful of in this conversion, in this upgrade.
Generally, what I found from other sources is that it generally works pretty smooth. Of course, if you change from process instructions to XSteps, you have to convert all this stuff, which goes pretty fast sometimes. So I have one feedback from a colleague, from somebody of this community who said they did I think over 60 or so different process instruction categories, and in 10 days they moved them to totally to XSteps. So that was really fine. One thing I can tell you about, but it might already be solved in the support package area, but I'd just like to show this to you. There's at least in the beginning there was an issue with the process message category, and maybe you can double check that. Is if you look at the process management here in customizing, and there's in process messages, you see the process message destinations, and define and set up message destinations. For those of you who like to know the transaction codes, I can just show this here. It's O03C, and there this is this PI09 which is used for reporting the status to the process order. And I think that for all of you who are using the discrete stuff, those who are listening, that is still the same used also for PP, although it is called PI09 because it's sort of hard-coded. And the thing is there, it has to look like that. So it has to have this underscore XS at the end. There was another one, another function module which did not handle the XStep stuff correctly. So that's the generic one which handles both the process instructions based and the XStep based stuff. But apart from that, I think it should go pretty smooth.
You started saying though that we have to converting PICs to XSteps. We have to do that for 6.0? Or no?
But maybe it's already done. Maybe
right, we're pretty much done that, but I didn't know if there was something in 6.0 that prevents us from using PIC-based recipes.
Oh no, there's
no,
nothing.
Okay.
No.
Okay, good. Because we're in the middle of doing that.
I mean, this guy here. So this, if you do have this setting, it will also work for the normal process instructions. But if there's something other here than this, you might have problems with the XStep-based PI sheets. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've defined a lot of our own message control recipe destinations, but message destinations we're using the standard. So we'll have to check this.
Yeah, that's also a standard one. So and if I'm going to the O13C, which is the one for process message categories. There you see also the PI CRST, and that one is also, if you have a look here, there are also the PP ones. So if you're using it in PP, you would probably use all those process messages, but except there's one exception, that's this one, because that's always the same. And if you look at the destinations here for that category, you see that this one is there. So it's sending its status here to the control recipe. So that's this destination address, and it's sending it to the order. So both objects need to be updated on this status change.
Okay.
Yep. That's already set in QA, Sue.
Yeah, I was just looking.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Any other question, concern? Gary, what about you?
Do you have any out there already that will change the user status for a production order? I know that you have them for changing user status of an operation. Are there any function modules for changing the user status of a production order header?
But it's possible to do that without any modification. You can create your own destination, message destination, if you do it via process message. You can just have a look at all these for example, if you have on an operation status here, something, or phase status here, you see that there is this destination address, yes, and so you can create your own destination, your own process message category. You can just copy these things, and then if you have a look at this destination, so it's just a function module. You can use that as a copy template for creating something in your customer namespace, and then you can extend this functionality and also update user status. But that's development, then, of course.
I understand.
Yeah. But what I wanted to say is that this is possible without any modification, so it's quite flexible here. I must say that these function modules are a little bit special because they use a special procedure to first extract all the information from the process message. So that's why you should first understand what these things, these function modules are doing, and build your own process message destination in the same way. Okay. Any other question, Gary?
No.
No? Maybe some experience on your first steps with XSteps. How easy was it for you, or other way around? What were the biggest obstacles or problems you had first?
Yeah. With us never having really used PI sheets or XSteps, really, your web sessions, were very helpful in helping us at least understand the capabilities and set up some very basic examples for our people to see. And we understand that we're certainly haven't even utilized the potential that we have here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. One other source of information. It sounds trivial, but I find out very often that people tend not to read the documentation in our portal very much. So you really should also look at that documentation. It's also contains a lot of information also around PI sheet stuff, also about very, very deep insights there. There's much information there to find if you take the time.
I understand.
So what kind of processes do you want to implement with PI sheets? Is it just for confirmations and goods movements, or is it more really work instructions and SOPs and all these kind of things?
Yes, work instructions and confirmations and goods movements, all of the above.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello? Who's there? So I saw that Pascal has also joined the meeting. Pascal?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Great. So we are
yes, I was a little late because of some meetings and some work to do.
Yes,
so
no need to apologize. We're not in school.
Okay.
Okay. No. So any news from your side? Any questions?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Right. So as long as there's no real questioning going on here, I'll maybe jump in with one topic. I started a little bit to prepare, and first I'll maybe explain what the issue was. So someone approached me about how to cancel when you have already worked on a PI sheet, and you find out, hey, I need to redo all the things for this order. I need to cancel this PI sheet, and I need to create new ones because something has changed in the order. So they wanted to reread the master data, and they didn't find a way to do it. And actually, from my experience, I don't think it is really possible to reread master data really. But I just wanted to point out the procedure. Maybe I did it before, but I'll just do it again. How to do this, or at least sort of to do this with XSteps. There's one possibility to do that, and I'd like just to show this to you. So maybe I just start. The system is a little bit slow here. Hopefully that goes smoothly. So what I do is creating an order here, and that's a discrete one here. I have a lot here, so I'll just remove all these things here. Assign a different destination address, and then I create one XStep here and that's important in a way that you probably, if you have a lot of instructions here or on the top level, you have it's a little bit more difficult. What I will show you later. So that's easier if you have not so many steps here to copy. And then I'll create a reference here. Maybe I'll just I want to see that. I think let's try this. I don't know. I mix it up a little bit. I wanted to do some more demos here. So I don't know whether this is really working here, but let's try this. Okay, so I'll release the order and I create a control recipe, and it does not work. So okay, I messed this thing up. Sorry for that. So I delete. First I have to delete the generation, then delete this one, and maybe I just create a process instruction here plainly and do an entry field here. Nothing major, I just wanted to show the principle. So test, and okay. Create control recipe, so that worked, and I'll send this. I hope it's not too fast. You have to slow me down if you don't see it in a performant fashion. Okay. And here we go. So I just pretend I do something with it just by entering a comment and nothing else. So it's just in process. Yeah. And what I do now is I'm going to the order again. That one here. And what is possible here, and that's quite new from EHP 3, I think, on, is you can discard the work instruction here. And you have to select the step here. And and that's possible when you did not work on the PI sheet. So that's the only thing here I wanted to show. And the other thing is here, and you do that in the PI sheet. That's the other system. Sorry. That one here. Okay, that one. I select that and I can discard it here. Select and discard. Okay, now it's cancelled. And go back. And in the order, maybe also do not know that you also see the status here quite nice in the XStep area. So you see this is now all red. So it's cancelled. So now what you cannot do is anything like the customer wanted to do here with function. Oops, that's interesting. No, it's not possible. Yeah, so you cannot do it. Yeah, there's a log, so it's not possible to reread the master data. But what you can do to create at least a new PI sheet, if something in your PI sheet setup has changed, yeah, then you can go into the XStep area again. You create a new XStep tree here, and then what you can do, you can copy like this, paste, So yeah, the destination, and then you can also copy this one here and paste, and then you have the same instructions that you had here again, and you can modify it if necessary or so. I must say that, of course, that request came from a discrete industry customer, so they don't have any many issues with validation and and regulation. So that's of course more critical in the pharmaceutical business. Yeah, but this is a process, a way you can handle such situations with XSteps. Yeah. And of course, you can. You cannot, I think you cannot create them here, yeah, so that's not possible with this button, but you can here select that tree, you create and you generate a new control recipe. You see color changed, control recipes were generated, save, and then you have a totally new PI sheet here for the same destination, yeah, so that's nothing which was possible with the process instructions. It's only possible with the XSteps here. Yeah. Send this and continue with the work with that one. Okay, so that was something I wanted to show to you. Any questions on that?
Not for me.
Is that, from your point of view, from the physical business, something you would consider at all, or is it something you would just say, okay, that's no way we can use that?
I think we wouldn't use it because then there's one order and two PI sheets, and with copy and paste data, I think it's not the best way. I think the safe way would to be cancel the whole order and make a new order.
Create a new order, yes.
Yes.
Again, yeah. So that customer is not from the pharmaceutical business, so they could do that, yeah. But I agree in the pharmaceutical business, this would be the best and most clean way to do that.
Right.
Arnie, one question on this process.
Yes.
It's the planner that, for us, it's a planner of sorts that creates the orders. And so in the normal, in everybody else's world, is it a planner that plays with XSteps like this and creates new control recipes? I mean, we have created an environment where the planner is just planning quantity and dates, not looking at work instructions or control recipes and that kind of thing. Is that, have we created an unusual situation, or is that the
that would, from my point of view, that would be an unusual situation. So that's probably something, it's not a day-to-day business here, what you would do here.
Okay.
So some super user or somebody from even IT department, if I don't know, depends on your setup, would probably do that. If you remember my session, I don't know who watched it or who attended that session where I demonstrated this discrete scenario with this touchscreen layout. Maybe some of you remembers. There I had a possibility to create such a new tree in the order from within the PI sheet or from within the work instruction. Yeah, so that it was a call of a function module, and I provided some information, and then that function module did update the process order or the production order in that case, and I think, I don't know if it even created the new control recipe already, or if it's just like that in the order. But I think it already created a new control recipe, and if you have the job running, then it's already available. So that would be a procedure not for totally making the PI sheet new, but maybe for some reworking or for some special treatments that you already have foreseen, where you just select a certain standard XStep from the repository, from your sort of rework folder repository there. Yeah. So
I think I remember. I may have seen that ASUG when you were there.
Yeah. At ASEC we presented that exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Any more?
I have a question for you, Arnie.
A different one?
What's that?
A different one.
A different one.
Okay.
One of the things that we've been working on is automating the work instructions for our bulks, and we make conjugates and diluents. So we have a lot of raw materials that are brought in with different titers, different concentrations, and we're doing all that functionality within the PI sheet. We're creating XSteps that people click buttons and their calculations made, and they enter record concentrations. Has anybody, or are you aware of folks that are using the standard SAP functionality around the concentrations and the conversions that is available in the process order up front on the materials, or have you worked with that at all?
I have worked with that. I did try it out.
Let's put it that way. As you successfully worked with that.
Yeah. Honestly, I've never experienced a customer who did it, and it was always the same problem that they had, if at all, they had only maybe the active ingredient material as already as pre-assigned as a batch, and all the others they were not really pre-assigned. So
correct.
And
right.
if you don't have this, then you have there's no way you can really make this work. Yeah. So it only would work if you would really make all the batch determination beforehand, before you release the order, and then you can do all these calculations. I'm sure there was a business case for that to create that functionality. So there might be customers out there that do this, but I personally didn't meet a customer who did it.
Okay, so because I looked at it and I did a little prototype, did some discovery, and we abandoned it for the fact that the XSteps, we could create whatever we needed in the XStep, and the operator who at the time, when they decide which bottle of which chemical at which titer they're going to use, not when the planner creates the order.
Yes.
That it was just more flexible to let the operator enter the information.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if others had come up with a different process. Yeah.
I did when I did the weigh scale implementation at DHU, where Pascal is coming from. We did, of course, also such a thing where we did calculations based on an actual batch which was entered, and did calculations inside the PI sheet with function modules and such things. Yeah. So yes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
That's the material quantity calculation. Is that? That's the correct term.
Correct, yeah. We sometimes add 2 or 3 or 4 materials that have different concentrations, and or the titers, and based on those values, we have to adjust the quantity of the other material. So as SAP describes it in the documentation, it's that particular case where you have orange juice and it's at a concentration.
Yeah.
You have to decide how much water you're going to enter. It's that example, but it's complicated by knowing which batch you're going to use at the time, and what the measurement is of that batch, and what the calculations are for this particular material and that you're producing, and those kinds of things.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. So you're using function modules for calculation there, or are you happy with the basic calculation objects that you have there?
We're using what we can in the XSteps, in formulas in the XSteps, with entry fields, and in some cases we're using function modules to do some calculations, but mostly we're trying to keep it within the XStep as much as we can.
Yeah. When you're using function modules, are you using tabular values, or is it just line by line where you do the calculation?
We try to keep it to simple values, simple fields. I'm not sure.
Because you really have to.
We have one or two cases with table values.
Yeah, I mean, if you try very hard to stick to this table by table approach, at some point you might end up in more effort than it would be to make one effort with if you have a real table and you might need some more information from another line maybe or something like that, and then it's easier to to have all in one scope for your calculations. Of course, it's more a development effort then, but yeah.
Yeah, and we have the folks, those of us who were working on XSteps, obviously had time to work on XSteps, and we were having to get developer time dedicated to us. So it's where you have availability. So we tried to do it ourselves in the XSteps, and for the most part, we've been successful. But any slight adjustment to the process out there means an adjustment to the XSteps and the recipe. So we have to be mindful that we're trying to build something that can cover quite a bit of a span of different manufacturing processes and materials. So
okay, while we're talking about that, maybe that's also a nice topic to discuss. Is how do you handle the change management when you have function modules that you use in the PI sheet, and when you change those function modules, are you having a special procedure how you will manage that change? Because I mean, if you have approved recipes where function modules are used, and then you change those function modules, then if you take it very serious, of course, that invalidates that validation of the recipe. Correct? So how do you do that with these function modules? Are you renaming the function modules every time then, or no?
Now, what the first question we ask when we're about to make a change to a function module is this a bug fix, or is this a change of process change? Is it an enhancement or a change of requirements? So if it's a bug fix, we determine the scope of the use of that function module, and we make the correction to the function module. We do unit testing, user acceptance testing, and then we implement on a weekend window. We know what recipes are impacted. We do a where used on that function module, and we identify that, and then we usually, if there are implications to many recipes and many products that are out there, we will implement it on a weekend. And we just use the same name. We send the new fixed function module to production, and we go live on the weekend, and then so when they go to do that function call, they get the new function module, right?
How do you manage this in terms of batch records? So when for example, if you've got an auditor coming and then he wants to know, okay, at that time in the past, how was the functionality? I mean, how do you prove what was happening? I mean, that was always a problem that I faced many times, where they said, I mean, I know what I can see there on the batch record, but if there's a button there, and there's a result on the right time, so there's no real description what really has happened. So how do you track that?
Well, we've not ever had an auditor ask us that, I don't think.
Okay.
They look
Hopefully
at the
nobody listens right now.
Right. Nobody on the phone's an auditor, right? They look at the PI sheets and see what occurred in the PI sheets. What we found in our industry, especially in our products that are regulated by the USDA, nobody else is using EBR PI sheets in SAP. So the last time we had an audit with USDA, they came in and went, well, we don't know. We'll need to talk about that. Can you print these out? Which was why I asked the question last time about printing out. And so we said, well, we can print one out. Here's the printout. It was 96 pages long. And then we said, we can also show you this online. And we gave them an introduction of what PI sheets are, because they've only seen paper-based MPIs, manufacturing process instructions. So that was USDA. The other audits that we've had, like internal audits, they're not really looking at which function module fired off when you hit a button.
Okay.
They're looking at what we're recording. They're auditing what's being recorded in the PI sheet, and we're recording everything we used to record in the paper document unless we have had approval to not need to do that anymore.
Okay, so as long as all the input parameters for a certain process are there, and also the results that make sense for this process are also documented there. It doesn't matter how it came to be there. Okay.
Well, and we also have another thing that we have had to build, which we call our ZMDM, which is a series of Z tables that we store master data for materials. So, for instance, if we're making material 1, 2, 3, 4, and when we measure the pH of the material of the component, the pH has to be between 16 and 18. We have the ranges in that MDM, and so they can look at what should have been checked, what it was checked against by looking at that data.
Okay,
and
so
then
you've got
they
historical
can see the
data there
check within the PI sheet, and then if it deviated, they see the deviation. So, they see all the steps. We have all the data that they can compare to. And so I think the only thing that we're trying to work on, and we'll probably work on in the third and fourth quarter, is to print out, have a better layout set for style sheet for printing out the paperwork if that should need to happen. So,
hopefully in maybe 10 years or so, the auditor will ask you, "Oh, you still have printouts?"
Yeah, exactly. But they really like the paper because they like to take them with them, and we have to give them whatever they want.
Sure.
So, and then if something is a change, we initiate a change order. We have a change order process in our quality management system, which is our regular. It's a QMS, and so part of that process is to create a change order, and it's documented as to what we're going to change, what's impacted, what X steps were changed, what master data is changed, and then we get approval from the business on the change order, and then that's part of our approval in IT, part of our IT methodology to transport those changes or move those changes, if they're export-import, to production. So we have an external management system. We create a change order in SAP that corresponds to that change order that's in actually our live link. We have live link here for document management. And so those numbers are tracked against each other, and then we affect that change. But, I mean, it's what it is. It's what we came up with when we implemented 3 years ago. At some point, we may try to streamline that process a little bit, but for now, when we're in the throes of trying to get everything into EBR, that it's working. It's a little bit of work, but it's manageable and it's working. It's keeping track of everything.
Okay. Right. So, anybody else who has something he wants to ask or bring up? Everybody's happy. Seems so. Maybe. In the meantime, last time I put the question out whether I should change the timing of the session. I have got in my blog a poll here, but it's not. It's only 6 votes here, but the majority of those 6 votes voted to keep that timing. So I'll keep it up running a little bit longer, but for the time being, I think it will remain on 3 p.m. my time. So if let's have a look at the topic discussion here of the cafe. Maybe there's something we can also. That was something about the batch template that I will answer later, I think. PI sheet status. That's maybe an interesting one here. Here you ask about what the rule is for the PI sheet status, and honestly, I've never really made experiments there how this works, but the status that you see in the PI sheet there, when you look at this screen here, I think he means that this status here. It's pretty much coming from the PI sheet itself, so it's not something which is changed by any process message or so. So there's no process message. I think that really updates the status of a PI sheet. It updates status of a control recipe and orders, but not of the PI sheet. So, and that's also why there are status like to be completed, for example, and that's something which is really set by the PI sheet itself. So if you have a PI sheet with mandatory input fields and also optional input fields, then if you have entered all the mandatory input fields, the PI sheet will get the status to be completed. And if you complete the PI sheet, then the status gets to completed here. So that's really coming from within the PI sheet process itself. So that's the answer, I think, to that question here. And of course, the status, where it comes from, I really don't know. Maybe in some of these tables, yes.
Yeah, and Arnie, we've had issues with that status. We've actually gotten a program from SAP to fix the status when it gets out of whack, where the PI sheet has been completely filled and completed, but the status is not set to completed. And it gets set to completed, but then something else is setting it to something else, and we can't figure out what the combination is. So they've actually given us a little fix program when that occurs, and it looks in that POC. I'd have to go look. It might be
some POC table.
Yeah, it's looking at two fields, and it says if this one's a 4 and this one's a 5, then set it to completed. So something in that status is getting confused at times, and I'm not quite sure. There are some OSS notes out there about comments. If you add a comment, then the status gets reset, and we thought that was the issue, but it was almost in reverse. The note was almost telling us this won't happen, but it actually was happening, so it was confusing. So that's something that it's not clear, and it's not consistent.
Okay.
We had the same problem in the last time, and we talked to the OSS of SAP, and they gave us a note. I'm just searching for it, which is fixing the problem that when the PI sheet is completed and the status is of incomplete, and you make a comment, then the status is going to in work or yes, in process, but you can't find the PI sheet when you are searching for in process. You can only find it when you are searching for in process and completed, which is a state that doesn't exist, but there's seems to be something wrong. Yeah, but there is a note, I think, and we have make it in our system, and as far as I know, it should work. Okay. So I'm just looking up for it.
So if the note is quite new, maybe Sue, you can search for it in the OSS note system.
Yes, it is just about a month old or so, and.
Okay. Yep, there are always new notes. It's hard to keep up. They should send them to us on distribution list. You're the 3 people that have called about PI sheets and had problems. Here are the newest notes.
Yeah, it would be nice? A good idea to have an RSS feed for certain categories. Yes.
Yes, it would be. Yeah, to have. If you request that you want to be part of the feed, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening. Sorry.
No, I don't
know.
Either. Yeah, I just don't see it either. But if business and times get hard, maybe they'll start doing that. I had a weird one yesterday, totally unrelated. I had searched on the web at one of the SAP sites, looking at information, and I got a call from SAP yesterday asking me if I needed more help.
Wow.
Because I was searching on the web on an SAP website. It's very strange.
So who was that person? From which department?
She didn't say. She's like, you were searching on the web for SAP. Could you tell me what business system you use? And I said, we use SAP. So I don't know. I didn't give her any information, and I told her I was all set because it
maybe
sounded
that was
very
some idea of acquiring new customers if by checking who's browsing there.
Well, I don't know, but they could do the same with the existing customers if they see us searching on OSS notes.
Strange.
You know,
that's funny.
It was very strange
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
she gave me her name, her first name only, and a phone number to call back.
Mm-hmm.
It was very strange. But
well,
must be a new marketing tactic.
I'm not aware of such a thing.
Yeah, very strange. But
So
nowadays, you can't trust anything.
Sue, there are two notes you
Okay.
you have to use. I think it's 1440228. This is the first one. It's a older one, and to this one there's a newer one. It's 1539154, and with this two notes, it should be fixed and
I will
should
take a look
work.
at those. Great, thank you.
Okay. Right. So we can also make this a short one today, if you don't want to discuss anything else. Up to you all. Okay. Then we'll all go back to our business. And
thank you very much.
Talk again next time.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Then
Yo, thanks.
have a good day and time. Okay. Bye.
Yo, bye.
Bye-bye.